Hey everybody, it's Jimmy and Ange. Ange, what we're talking about today, and we do it every year, okay? Around January, we do the pros and cons of living in Florida. And everybody's gonna say, hey, why you did one last year in 2024, then you did one in 2023, why are you doing one in 2025? Because believe it or not, pros and cons change.
Oh yeah, new year, new pros, new cons.
A lot of them are still the same, but there are some that definitely are not the same anymore.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Well, it's a changing area.
Right. It's definitely a changing area.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to talk about today: the 20 pros and cons of living in Florida in 2025. And you know that the population for Florida, is still growing, but less and less people are moving here.
Well, now I don't know. Put it this way, I can't say that's right or wrong. Because remember I said to you the other day, I said there was this article about all the Gen Xers that were like the younger generation that's moving to Florida.
Yeah, we're actually doing a video. We're going to do a video on that.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Because retired people aren't really,
It's not even the retired ones. It's ones that are much younger, in their 30s.
Oh, yeah, but here's what's happening now. Now, Florida used to be the #1 spot for retiring.
Oh, yeah.
It was the #1 spot. It's not the #1 spot anymore. And
what is?
Well, it's Tennessee right now.
Tennessee, okay.
But listen, U-Haul came out with a thing saying that more people are going to South Carolina one-way trips with U-Haul.
We talked about that the other day.
Yeah, compared to Texas and Florida.
Yeah, to South Carolina is much cheaper to buy a nice house, the taxes.
Yeah.
Except there's a lot of downsides to that place too. They don't have a lot there.
Well, we'll do a pros and cons. I know a lot about South Carolina. I spent a lot of time there and everything, in Georgia too. But people are moving out of Florida, okay? And some of these things stay till the end, because some of them, I have no idea how we're going to fix them. I really don't. I have no idea. So we'll do pros and we'll do cons, okay? In the meantime, do me a favor. If you like this kind of content, consider subscribing. It's motivational, and it really helps out the channel, and it's greatly appreciated. All right. Let's do the easy ones first, okay? And then we'll work to the harder ones, okay? One of the big pros, but it could be a con too, is the warm weather. Like right now, we're in, February.
Yeah, it's the beginning of February.
Okay. And it's about, 78 degrees?
76, it says,
All right, 76.
Where we are right now.
Yeah, 76 degrees. Yeah. You can't beat this.
No.
And humidity is low.
Yeah, and it's only going to go later tonight to maybe the low 60s, maybe 58, 59. You could still walk around in a t-shirt.
So that's a big pro, okay? But we'll throw a con on that one, okay? Come June, July, August, September, the humidity is going to be ridiculous. A lot of people do move out just because of the humidity.
Yeah, you can't breathe. I mean, it's heavy air.
Like June,
air.
July, August, September is, if you're up from northeast or up north in cold states, that's our winter here, because we literally have to stay indoors and have air conditioning.
Yeah.
You could take a shower, and then you can walk outside and feel like you need a shower within 5 minutes.
You'll be soaked. And even if you're just in a t-shirt and shorts, you'll be soaked. You'll be totally soaked. There's so much moisture in here. I mean, come on. How many days do we go through here, like high 90s in the temperature, and in the high 90s in the humidity, and it doesn't rain for like the 2 or the 3 days. So you're really you're dying for those days. Then it finally opens up, but 45 minutes later, it's back to 90% again.
Here's another pro why a lot of people are moving to Florida is there's no income tax.
Yeah.
Well, there's only 5 states that have no income tax. I know Wyoming, New Hampshire, Florida.
Texas has no income tax.
Texas has no income tax?
Yeah, Texas, and so Nevada too.
Okay, I don't remember what the other two is. But if I'm missing any, do me a favor, comment. So that's a benefit. But here's a con, okay? Freaking, you save money on income taxes.
Yeah, but you spend it on.
But you spend it, and this is not even on the list, okay? You spend it on car insurance and homeowners insurance.
Yeah.
Like literally the state of Florida, when I lived in New York, New Hampshire, and Maine, they're like, hey, what's your car insurance? Oh, it's $900 a year, $1,200 a year, whatever it is, okay? Over here, if you go and ask anybody, what do you pay for car insurance? they're literally going to tell you, well, my monthly payments are $600 a month, $500 a month.
Yeah, mine are on a 2024 Kia Telluride, 172 a month.
But I found that fascinating that that insurance is so high on cars that people have to break it down into monthly payments.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I pay mine like every 6 months, like I do it in the bulk kind of thing.
Yeah, but the whole thing is, a lot of insurance companies, like I'm with Hartford, and they said to me, I just got my bill. It's like, all right, what is it for a year so I can just pay it and not deal with it?
Can't pay it for the year.
No, I'm like,
I know. I used to do that too. Can't do it anymore. That's why I only do 6 months now.
Yeah, so they said 6 months. I said, well, if something happens within those 6 months, we could adjust.
Yeah, and that's what they told me. And I have State Farm. They told me the same thing. Because when I came down here, I was like, hey, I'll just, what is it? Let's just say it's $1,000. And I was like, okay, here, put $1,000 on my debit card here. And they're like, no, we can only do 6 months. And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, because in 6 months, your policy will be reevaluated.
That's one of the things that changed dramatically for 2025. That wasn't really on the 2024. Because in 2025, we have the hurricanes, we have homeowners insurance that's going crazy. Okay, homeowners insurance, some places can't even get insured anymore, and car insurance. And I think it's going to be a big, big story in 2025.
Yeah, it's killing the state.
So let's go to a pro. I mean, obviously beautiful beaches if you're into beaches.
Yeah, but you got to go to below us and above us. Like our area right here is where, I guess, what do we have?
Yeah, but the whole thing is you can just drive, like where we are. We're in Hudson. There's a couple little beaches, but you could drive 30 minutes south and go to Howard Park or something.
Yeah, which are like, the beaches are unbelievable.
They're beautiful beaches,
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, a con. Tourism, traffic is like, it used to be just a winter thing.
Yeah, now it's...
Okay, so like the snowbirds came down, so we have a lot of traffic and we expect it. But now during the summer, so many people moved to Florida that traffic is year-round now. That's a big difference for 2025 too.
Well, the other thing too is so many people moved here so fast that the infrastructure, and I just mean the roads, they're not wide enough. There's not enough turning points or traffic lights. It's a mess.
And the whole thing is like, even right near here on Little Road, they're building like 800 units, 800 houses. It's a 2-lane road.
Yeah.
And before they even build them, right, they build them on both sides of the road. And at the end of the day, I think it's going to be 1,400 homes or something like that. The roads can't handle the traffic now. Yeah, I just don't understand how they get the approval.
And they'll have one exit in and out of the development.
Well, that's one of the big things that I told people who is ever buying, in Florida. If you're buying in a subdivision, some of them are so dangerous just to pull out because they pull out onto major roads.
Yeah.
And you get T-boned really, really easy, and it takes years to get lights. All right, here's the other thing too. Even pulling out of a neighborhood, okay, even my neighborhood, okay, so many people moved there that, before I was able to go down my street, make a left turn and cross the road, or a right turn and cross the road, okay? Now, I don't make a left turn anymore because that road, it's called Trinity Boulevard, got so busy that I don't feel like risking my life crossing that road.
I know, it's bad.
So now I gotta make a right.
Yep, I know what you're talking about.
Well,
I do the same thing when it comes to, how like when you come to like on 19, US 19, or Commercial Way, if you people are looking it up, you come to a traffic light, you'll have the 3 lanes going straight, you have the turning lane. But when, like the way the lights are set up, those cars are flying by. Even though that road is like 55, people doing like 80.
I know.
It's insane. And you can feel, if you're sitting in the turning lane, the left turning lane, you can feel your car being pushed over. So what I do is I never turn at the corner because that's where all the accidents happen. I go maybe, whatever it is, a couple hundred yards down to where they have one of those turns.
U-turns?
Yeah, and where like there's nobody there and they're very wide, so you don't have to worry about getting rammed from behind. And I'll pull there and then I'll come back, just basically what you're doing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, but here's a pro, okay? Everybody comes to Florida for vacation. So if you want to go on vacation, you don't have to travel that far.
No, it is the vacation, like, but what's kind of funny? Even like with, the so-called the tariffs things that's going on, Even Canada mentioned it in a press conference.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, about like, if you're going to go to Florida for your vacation this year, it's like you could have chose any place in the world, and he said Florida.
But that's the whole thing, It's like, that's a big benefit. Like right now, me and you could literally finish this video in Hudson, drive to Disney, which takes us about an hour and 10 minutes from here.
Yeah.
Hang out there, get the season passes, and then just drive back.
Yeah,
and just go hang out.
And hang out. It's the same thing as or if we want to go to Key West.
Well, that's 6 hours.
No, but I'm saying we can take the ferry. You know
you can take the ferry, but that's a big.
No, but if you had to drive, it would take you 7 hours in the car just to drive there. You drive to the ferry, jump on the ferry, you're there in an hour and a half.
But one of the cons too is you go on vacation, but the tourists are going on vacation too.
I know, it'll be crowded craziness.
So, the thing that stinks about Disney's during peak tourism time, okay?
Now, would that be now, or would that, because it wouldn't be in August,
well, during the holidays, July and August, believe it or not.
It's packed?
It's packed. I wouldn't go there because they're literally standing in 90.
Yeah.
You know what it's like to go to Disney and you spend... Oh, the wait time is an hour for this ride or an hour and a half. And you sit in a freaking line for an hour, and then the ride is 2 minutes long.
I know.
That's ridiculous. But if you live in Florida, go on a Tuesday and an off season, and then you can just go round and round and round on that stuff, But, we also have a lot of other cons, too. What's the big cons, Climate, hurricanes.
It's funny. We get everyone knows the hurricanes. Like the whole world knows that Florida is like the hurricane capital of the world. But what a lot of people also don't know, we get tornadoes. Mm-hmm. And last year we had down towards, I guess it was the Punta Gorda area, in one day, because the hurricane was kicking in, there was over 100 tornado touchdowns. Now it could be a little swirl, not saying it's like taking out the whole block. But they had some serious damage down there. A couple of people died. I
didn't hear that. 100, you say?
Yeah, they had 100 touchdowns in a 24-hour period.
Wow.
Now they can relate where they can just be a little swirl, like you see the leaves spinning. That's considered a tornado. So that's why those numbers. Now there could have been 95 of those. You know what I'm saying? But they add them up that way.
Oh, I didn't know.
But, well, we get them because it's the conversion of the cool and the hot air, like boom, slamming, and that's what creates it.
Well, here's a pro: access to cruise ports.
We got a ton of them out here.
Yeah, you got Cocoa Beach, you go to Fort Lauderdale, or you go to Tampa. You know what's really cool about Tampa on the cruise ships? And I don't know if they still do this, but in the past, back in the day when I used to go, I could say, hey, what do I want to do this weekend? And I would actually go to the cruise ship in Tampa with a go bag and buy a ticket right then and there. And I would get on a cruise ship for like practically nothing.
Yeah, taxes. I think you pay the taxes. It's
like pennies on dollars, 120, 130 because they had the empty rooms.
Yeah.
And then we go to the Bahamas for 2 or 3 days, eat as much as we want, and then come back. It's just, that's a big pro of living in Florida is the cruise ships.
Well, and every cruise ship that comes from somewhere, or I should say is going somewhere, comes out of here. Like people fly from all over the country, the globe, to come here and to go to all the islands. Because a lot of these islands, that's the only thing you can land is a cruise ship. You know what I mean? You can't put a jet plane down. They don't have the runway.
Yeah, and some of them, yeah. Okay, so the job market is a pro and a con. Actually, the job market is increasing, but at the same time, Florida still doesn't pay as much as Jersey, New York, California.
Or even California, yeah, it doesn't.
It doesn't pay as much.
No, I mean, it's still catching up. I mean, professional-wise, like, say, lawyers and doctors, a lot of opportunity there, and you can make really good money. Police and firemen, the way they run the police and fire departments down here isn't like they do it like in New York. It's not run the same way. I work remotely, so I'm fine because I'm working from here out of one state into another. But, like, school teachers here aren't paid that great.
No.
There's a lot of them. You got to really be in your own business.
But, it's still a heavy tourism job things. But I think tech is starting to move here a lot. So I think that's growing, So basically, the sports scenes, if you're into sports, because we have the Phillies right here.
Well, we get the spring training. A lot
Yankees,
of teams come here, yeah.
We got hockey, we got aerial sport.
They're trying to bring in soccer because it's on the East Coast, so they're trying to bring it over to the West Coast.
But Florida, you know, if you're into sports or concerts even,
Yeah, we got a lot of concerts here.
every weekend there's a concert going on or there's a sports game going on, and you go. There's a lot of professional sports here, and most of them are within a close driving distance.
Yeah, I mean, you might have to drive maybe up to an hour, and that's about it, you know?
So what about this one? You know, people are talking about, and this one, you know, it's on the list, and a lot of people put it on the list, but I just don't believe it if you have an exterminator, a good exterminator. Pest problems, mosquitoes, palmetto bugs, and other pests are common. Yes, they are. You know, the palmetto bugs, they look like roaches, but like at my house, I pay a company called Terminex, and they come in and they spray, you know, every 6 weeks or whatever, and I don't see any. You know, and the grass gets sprayed, but I guess if you're in the woods or something, or if you're in some parts, I guess you could be dealing.
I've seen them in like by houses that live near the retention ponds. Mm-hmm. I've seen them around there. But the other thing too is the only time you see them is when the ground starts to get dry because they're out seeking water. So if it's moist, you never see them. They stay buried.
All right, let's talk about one for 2025 that was on the list for 2024, and hopefully this one will go away. Political divide.
Well, it's pretty much going away in Florida.
Yeah, but the whole thing is, right now, you know, the election's over with, but Florida had a really, this is a negative, Florida had a really big political divide.
Well, for for many years, Florida was pretty much Democratic.
Yeah, but a lot of people moving out just because of politics.
Well, I mean, put it this way, if you're going to really, like, judge who your friends are based on politics or where you live based on politics. I mean, I can understand it if like they're taxing you out the wazoo, that kind of thing based on the politics. But if it's like, you know, you're a Republican and the neighbor next door is a Democrat and you're going to sell your house because you don't want to live next door to a Democrat, that's pretty stupid because you guys probably have people have more in common than they think they do.
Here, I'm going to read some off, okay? Outdoor festivals, there's always something going on.
There's a lot of them.
There's, you know, the economy, I think, will always be kind of okay because of tourism.
Yeah. Well, this is a tourism economy over here.
You know, we have a lot of state parks and nature preserves. You know, we have the Everglades, everything. You know, another big pro about Florida is we have Tampa Airport, Orlando Airport. I mean, it's just like we have major airport hubs to get out of here.
Yeah, like well, there's Orlando, there's Tampa, there's Miami, and then there's a whole bunch of little ones. Like there's one by me up in Brooksville there, which is a private airport, but you can have a certain size plane land if they have to, you know. So
the biggest, like I told you guys at the beginning, the biggest con about Florida in 2025, which was the biggest con in 2024, but I think is affordable housing. If you're thinking about moving to Florida to save on a house, even if you're coming from New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, I would have never said this 2 years ago, 3 years ago, okay? But now I'm saying it. If you're coming here thinking, oh, I'm going to save money, you're really not.
Well, put it this way, if you're thinking you're going to buy what you probably owned up there, you're never gonna. But if you decide, I mean, you can't buy what's across the canal. That's going to cost you even more. But if you go to some areas and you get like a 2 or 3 bedroom house.
Yeah, you buy a house for 300, 400. But you know, but the whole thing is everybody gravitates towards Fort Lauderdale, Miami,
and that's going to cost you $900,000, $1 million.
Yeah, so you know, and the houses, believe it or not, they might be a little bigger and everything, but your property taxes
are going to be $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 a year.
Yeah, so that's one of the biggest cons. And I'm sure I left a few things off this list, but I just wanted to touch on it.
Well, the one thing we did leave off, and I'll just bring it up really, really quick, we have some of the best universities here in the country, if not the world.
Yeah. You know, not only do they have a good education system, the universities, but it seems like the kids have fun too.
Yeah, and the school system has gotten really, really good here.
In certain areas. There's a couple of them still, you know, questionable.
They're coming up, but a lot of them, what it used to be, it's way better.
So anyways, that's today's video. Do me a favor, consider subscribing. It really helps out the channel. And check out this video right here. I picked it out just for you guys, and we'll talk to you in the next one. Thank you and have a great day.